Now I'm going to hand the floor to Senator Metz.
Thank you, Faith. You give me faith in our next generation, present generation, and we thank God for you. I'm just going to say what my deacons had. To God be the glory. Great things he has done. So this isn't about Senator Metz. I'm here with my state representative who represents my family, me and my family, Representative Williams. We've been fighting this battle a long time. But something we got from our ancestors. They had long suffering because they knew that better days were coming by and by for the future generations. And I want to give you a little bit of my history. A lot of people know my father's Cape Verdean, but my mother's from Virginia. Her family's from Virginia. I was born in Virginia. I can remember leaving the train from Rhode Island to go see our family near Charlottesville, and I was 5 years old. And I can remember when the train got to Washington, D.C., below the Mason-Dixon line, that all the colored people, as they called us back then, had to get off the train from Rhode Island, and we all had to get on the train with the other colored people. You know, 5 years old, I still can remember that. And then, if you ever come by my house, I'll show you a rocking chair that looks like it's handmade, that my great aunt gave me. It's from Grandma Alice Wood, my grandmother's great-great-great-grandmother. So when she was a little girl, Aunt Bertha told me, Aunt Bertha passed when she was 106. She was riding on a horse, actually, they were Native Americans, with her father, and the settlers, the white settlers shot him, and he managed to get a couple of arrows off. But she was a little girl, and he slapped the horse that she was on, and the horse kept riding, and when it got tired and thirsty, it pulled into the Speck Plantation near Charlottesville, and when she became of age, they named her to one of their slaves. They married her to one of their slaves named Benjamin Wood. So when you hear Crozet, Virginia, and Whitehall, Virginia, Reverend Wood and I, that was formerly here at the Pond Street Second Free Will Baptist Church, we're distant cousins. So I know a little bit from my family history because Aunt Bertha made sure that I knew about the family history. So certainly I want to commend Faith for wanting to know more about the history, because the only thing I knew about history coming up in junior high school, Gilbert Stewart Junior High School, they had 2 paragraphs. One, it was about Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves. That was it. So certainly I want to thank all my colleagues in government. I have Senator Quezada who signs all my bills. If no one else has signed my bills, I have my senator with me. And Senator Miller's here, Senator Kano, and I think Senator Golden's here. So, and certainly all our colleagues in government. Mayor, thank you so much. But Governor, I want to just commend you, because removing the hurtful word plantations from the official stationery, that's something. Because I used to feel the hurt. I was talking with Representative Williams about that just a little bit earlier. Here I am at some youth function, and I'm reading citations in the state of Rhode Island, and I skip the Providence Plantations because it's an embarrassment to me, and it's very hurtful to me because I know some black history. And I'm also pleased, Senate President Ruggiero, he asked me to announce that he said he talked to Speaker Mattiello, that they're going to do the same thing in the Senate and the House and remove plantations from all our stationery too. Now, last week, I submitted, as I've done for the past 7-10 years, the Juneteenth resolution about the emancipation of the slaves and how it took 2.5 years to get to Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, Arizona. And now, all through the resolution, the stationery that it was printed on, the irony was it had Providence Plantations on that. And here's a resolution talking about people being free from slavery. So what irony? What irony? So the past may be the past, however, we must make amends. And it has to be made now and for the future. We cannot let remembrances of slavery and the legacy of inequities and systematic racism that are left be the psychological need in the necks of our children. That's what it is. No history. You're robbing kids. It's bad enough that their ancestors was robbed of their culture and their language, but now there's no history. You know, me when I was you go into a store, the store detective used to follow you around the store. Sometimes you get stopped for no reason. And I'm very, you know, people, sometimes my wife thinks I'm very sensitive. Before the COVID, when we did go to a restaurant, don't let the maitre d' sit me near the kitchen or near the bathroom. I want a good table like everybody else. So I'm very, it's those little indignities day by day that you face, and you kind of brush them off. You brush them off, but they build up on you because we want justice and equality just like anyone else. And Faith, I want to share something with you. How embarrassed I was years ago when I was in the House and I got invited by the Newport Branch NAACP to their annual celebration of the first black regiment in Rhode Island. Never heard about it. Many times as I've been to Newport, I rode past the monument, never knew it was there. And then until the Newport Branch NAACP and others got together and put a decent monument there, and people don't know it. During the Revolutionary War, the capital of Rhode Island was in Newport. And the British hired Hessian soldiers, and they told the Narragansett Indians that were slaves and the Africans that were slaves, if you fight for the state of Rhode Island, we'll set you free. And they won the battle and they saved the state of Rhode Island. We have a lot more examples like that. But how embarrassing it was for me, being of African American heritage, not knowing how important, since the Revolutionary War, the contributions that our people have made to this country.
And this state, especially.
And this state, thank you.
Yeah.
And this city.
Yeah.
So those are the things. It's the psychological oppression that has the knee on us that we're trying to get off. We're tired of it. We're tired of it. And
How
you know,
tired? How tired are you?
like Fannie Lou Hamer, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So Plantations has got to go, and our country and state needs healing. I don't want to forget that part, because if you're not careful, you'll let the negativity of the years and what you have to face consume you, and I don't want to be consumed about it. So I keep repeating to myself Romans 12:21, be not overcome of evil, overcome evil with good. I keep that in my head because the healing we have to fight, but we have to have healing to go along with it. And to correct 45, it's love, not hate, that will make America great. And Governor, I just want to add a couple of more things. I thank you for the initiatives that you're taking. The MBE program, when we started at Representative Williams will tell you, when we started it years ago, in Massachusetts, they had a staff of over a dozen people that worked in that office to go out into the field, to check the numbers, to make sure that there were minorities working. And what they did here in our state, they cut the staffing down to 1.5 people, which made it impossible to do the job. So the MBE office has to be adequately funded and staffed. There's another bill, a constitutional amendment that we've been trying for years, is to add the word equity to the Constitution. Massachusetts, someone sued in their court years ago, and their judicial system told them to put more money in education. Now everybody uses Massachusetts. They use Massachusetts as an example of the type of educational system we want. They tried it in Rhode Island, and our court threw the case out because there's no equity language in our Constitution. So myself, Senator Quezada, Senator Picard, we've been trying to get equity, the word equity, into our state constitution so we can have a decent educational system for our kids too. Tell me about it, Joe. And the other thing is, it may seem like a small piece of legislation to a lot of people. You know, we put in a lot of legislation. There's the asset forfeiture law. If I live next door to Senator Quezada, and I'm a drug dealer, and they go into her house by mistake, and she has $1,000 hid underneath the mattress, and then they throw the case out because they went to the wrong house, she can't get the money back. No, she can't get the money back. She's got to jump through a whole lot of hoops with law enforcement, and then if you hire a lawyer, what happens to that $1,000? So, if you're found innocent and they throw your case out, your property and your money should go back automatically. So there's many other examples, and I really do think we need the mandatory bias training and the equity training and all this other stuff. But we're really going to have to stay prayerful, because only God can change the hearts of people. We can put in all the legislation that we want. And so those of us that know how to pray, keep it up on the up and up, because it's going to take God himself to change the hearts of people so that we'll become the people, because he said, be not overcome of evil, overcome evil with good. And by this shall all men know you're my disciples, if you have love one for the other. So thank you for all your dedication and your support during this process. God bless you. Keep up the hard work, because we can't do it alone.